This program is brought to you by Tab. Long may we play.
I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to the second episode of Thoroughbreds Are Go, as we look at the best ways to rehome our magnificent thoroughbreds and assist those who take them on. Coming up, we visit the annual Milton Show for an emotional day as the southern New South Wales community thank the local fireys for their incredible work during devastating fire season. We see how their thoroughbreds help them through this terrible time and the joy they provide as they compete at one of the best local ag shows in the land. Also educating a young show jumper off the track and the all-important feed a thoroughbred requires with accredited Victorian retrainer Caroline Price. Plus a popular ex-racehorse and eventer, Restless or Chock, back where he was born at Yarraman Park Stud. And Arrowfield Stud's Strappers Stories. Very smart.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
It was unexpected, it was terrifying, we had no time to get the horses out.
The fires came through, they hit us 4 times actually. Yes, it was very difficult for us. We did have to leave our horses at our house while we evacuated.
After an horrific summer of bushfires where this Milton Showground was used as an evacuation centre, it's just wonderful to see the local community turning out for the 151st annual local show. And from the horror of seeing much of this region destroyed by fire, it's uplifting to see thoroughbreds providing so much joy for so many people in competition today. This is the grassroots where so many of our thoroughbreds find loving, active homes around Australia. Tara, it's been an incredible few months for the local region around southern New South Wales, with obviously the awful bushfires and so many people impacted by them. But, you know, literally as the sun comes out, a ray of sunshine here today at Milton with this show.
We've had fires up and down here for months, and normally at this time of year we have the South Coast Ag Show run, which starts sort of early January and it runs through to here, and all the towns that you drive through between Sydney and here have their Ag Show weekend after weekend. But this year, as a result of the fires, every single one of these shows has been cancelled, except for Nowra, which was a month ago. And people are starved of this sort of entertainment and community gathering, so we're getting a really great turnout here today.
And great to see so many thoroughbreds that people are getting that joy from in particular here.
Well, at these sort of events, you always see a lot of thoroughbreds. They're a great transition horse for kids moving up off ponies and not quite ready for a big giant horse. So you find a lot of thoroughbreds that really find their niche in life.
And the thoroughbreds were such an important thing people were trying to save and look after during the fires. Tell us a bit of your story.
The fire, I think everybody here at this showground today would have a fire story to tell because it impacted on all of us or friends, family that we knew in one way or another. For me personally, it was pretty bad. On January the 4th, after a number of emergency days, the fire finally did come to us, and it was unexpected, it was terrifying, we had no time to get the horses out. In the end we had to let them all go, and they survived very well, I've got to say. Unfortunately the fire did burn out my next door neighbour's garden and came up our laneway, but we emerged pretty much unscathed. But it was terrifying, and all the things you read about fire, how it goes pitch dark and you can't see, That's pretty much what it was like.
There's lots of friends at school, their houses had been lost, especially in Conjola, where it was really bad.
Everyone was kind of stressing, like, are you going to take the horses off? But we had this paddock where there's no trees or anything, so we kept them there, kept their rugs off, kept the water filled up, kept their headstalls off too. And amazingly, actually, when it hit on the 4th of January on Saturday, went pitch black, and when we saw light come through, they were huddled in a circle with their heads down lowered to protect their ears and nose from the ash.
The kids are quite upbeat about it, but it must leave some scars on the kids too.
I think it's leaves scars on everybody. There's a level of anxiety, like now that it has rained and everything is green again, you can relax a little bit. But in the weeks after the fire, you find yourself constantly looking at the sky, endlessly looking at the sky. You know, is there smoke, is there something coming? And if there's a wind change, you just get anxious. You'd get really bad anxiety. But green grass is great for that.
But here today, Jack and Jasmine, your two gorgeous teenagers, I mean, it's fantastic to watch their love of the thoroughbreds that you have. Tell me about some of, the couple that we saw here, Luna Rise, as he was in Lenny, and Pie as well, affectionately nicknamed.
Well, my kids are the classic kids that moved up off ponies and moved on to thoroughbreds. Because of my background in racing and thoroughbreds tend to come to me. We don't have to pay for them, people are always wanting to give them to me. We were lucky that Bede Murray, the late Bede Murray, gave us Pie, because he always said to me, I've got the perfect horse for you, and at the time I was very sceptical, but that horse has been amazing from the day we got him. Jasmine's ridden him since she was 12. He's been to numerous pony club state championships. And then Luna Rise came to us 2 years ago, and it's been an absolute pleasure taking him on and showing him what to do and educating them for this sort of life where they're going to be useful for whether it's us or for somebody else for the rest of their life.
But yeah, I love them. They're such honest horses, super kind, willing. They just try their hardest, which is what I like about them most.
He was out for 12 months, and then he had to stop racing forever, but he was able to come back as a high-level eventer, and I'm an eventer, so I thought may as well give him a go. So then we've been training him, dressage and everything. My brother Sam works for Shane Rose. He's been helping me out, which is our Olympic eventer. Yeah. And I've been going down to Wallinga Park, and they've been helping me with dressage lessons. And yeah, my goal is to make the New South Wales team again.
They really have to learn to just stop and take all this in and do as they're told.
That is one of the most important things when you take on racehorses and you're going to be retraining them to rehome. You've got to make sure that they can come to somewhere like this, they can be tractable, they can behave, so that the person who has got them is having an enjoyable time and not having a time being dragged around by something that's unruly and giving you a hard time. So that's probably the number one thing with people who are retraining them. You've got to get their behaviour good for when they actually go out in public.
A lot go from city trainers to country trainers. We see horses here, Robert Price, the brand there. We've seen, obviously Bede Murray, some of the horses he's had and bred and trained. And then also, from Wagga Wagga, they're from all around the country.
They do. And, well, actually one of ours is actually from New Zealand. So they do pop up from all over the place. And also now you see a lot of these imported stayers that are popping up. We see a lot of English, French horses, all sorts of horses coming into play. The good thing about the racehorses is because of the racing background, they're already desensitised to a lot of things. They're usually good with traffic, they're usually good with crowds. It's just a matter of harnessing that energy and turning it in a new direction that's positive for the people that are involved with them.
Most people think, because they do racing and they're very highly strung, they don't think they're very friendly. But if you bring them back to the basics and train them how you should, I feel like racehorses are beautiful animals.
Don't lose patience, just keep taking them out, keep getting them places, showing them things. They'll eventually just smooth in, get used to everything.
And you can see the joy. I mean, Kel Priestley, his daughter is one of New South Wales' leading riders, and he is really great at transitioning kids from ponies, but he then gets them onto thoroughbreds for his Priestley team of riders, and it's great to see.
That transition horse is so invaluable for these kids moving up, and now that we have thoroughbred sport horse classes at all our major jumping shows, it means that these kids can go and have all the excitement and the glamour of competing at a big show and being very competitive within that thoroughbred ring. If you want to get a thoroughbred to compete and you don't have a lot of good riding skills, you are better off buying a horse from somebody who's done the hard work, taken them to shows like this, and they can say to you, look, it's been here, it's been there, it's been competed, it's campaigned, this is what it can do. If you buy one straight from a retrainer, you're going to be the person that's going to have to put in the hard yards. You're going to have to bring it here, you're going to have to teach it to tie up, you're going to have to lead it around when it's anxious. and you're going to have to take your time with it. So if you want to be out there competing straight away, get a horse that has actually done things already, that's got the track record in its new career. Don't try and be a genius if you don't have the skills to do it.
Exactly, but the joy they give, it's worth it, isn't it?
Oh, they're terrific. We get a lot of satisfaction. You know, around Melbourne Cup time, you know, I always think, you know, Lenny won the Carbine Club on Derby Day. You know, he was a superstar back then, and to us, he's always a superstar. It's not about coming out and winning every time. It's about the horse having a worthwhile life, doing something that he loves, that gives everyone enjoyment.
Just a beautiful day for the locals, and so great to see Thoroughbreds giving them something to focus on after a tough summer. Coming up after the break on Thoroughbreds Are Go, we head to Victoria, and accredited retrainer Caroline Price tells you how best to acquire a thoroughbred and make sure it gets the best feed and care. And a popular former three-day eventer who raced as Restless, now retired at Yarraman Park Stud, where he was born.